Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 352 Blitz. If I'm not mistaken, this is episode 8 of our rebrand. As you guys know, we're missing a couple people today. Jay Budd, who's really busy, couldn't make it today, and Omar, who's busy as well, but he's going to join, I think, halfway through this episode. I want to apologize for not making it last week. I had some things coming up, but we're good now. But if you guys haven't already, like, comment, subscribe everywhere. We're 352 Blitz on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. Go ahead and follow us so you can see clips of us. Of our channels. If you don't want to watch the full episodes, check the clips out. But yeah, if you haven't already, like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube as well. We've been reaching, I think we're at like 40 now, something like that. 40, 42, something like that. So we want to get the number up to 50. If we can do 50 this month, that'd be beautiful. So if you haven't already, like I said, subscribe to us there. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. As you guys know, especially if you're an NFL fan, this past weekend / end of the last week, we had the NFL draft started up Thursday night. We had some really, obvious picks of who was going to go number 1, number 2 overall. And then we had some really, really weird picks, some reaches that we're going to talk about too as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So first question I'm going to ask you, Ed. So who do you think out of everybody that was drafted, let's just stick to the first round to make it easier on everybody. Who do you think will have the biggest immediate impact?
Who will have the biggest? I think the biggest impact immediately, Bryce Young. Bryce Young. I think, and that's like a safe one to say. But I mean, Carolina doesn't have they don't have a quarterback. You saw how they looked last year. Their defense is pretty good, but their offense is awful. But offensively, they added Bryce Young, Heisman winner, and they added a couple of weapons around him as well. So it's not like they only drafted him and nothing else. So I think Bryce Young is a safe one to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I know it's obviously, like I said, a safe pick there, but it's just that guy has stuff that you can't teach. The way he's elusive, the way he can evade the pocket, evade defenders in the pocket, the way he can extend plays, all that stuff is just stuff that you just can't teach, right? And I think he's going to translate pretty well into the NFL. I don't think it's going to be too much of a big, drop off from like college to NFL, like I said. And with the new coach that got coming in, I forgot his name, but I know he was on with the last year. And then you got Damian Pierce, you got Terry in the backfield with him. And I don't know who's all at wideout. I'm having the biggest brain for right now, but I know they kind of have some weapons for him. So I think it's going to be pretty fun to see how the offense moves. I'm rooting for them, even though they're in the AFC. I'm still want them to, do good. I want to see Bryce Young do good because even though he went to Bama and he beat my Gators, in college, I think, 21. I'm still rooting for him because he's a great guy overall, and I want to see him win. But yeah, answer the question. I think everybody can agree. I think Omar and J-Bo would agree that Bryce Young would definitely go have the biggest impact for sure. Now let's talk about sticking to the first round again. We saw some questionable picks. What do you think was the biggest reach in the first round from this past Thursday?
In the first round, I think the biggest reach was, and I'm not saying because the type of player that he is, because I think that he's a very, very good player, but I think it has to be Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs at 11 or 12 for the Lions when they could have addressed other needs.
Yeah.
It's a reach, man. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs would have been there when they picked again. I'm pretty sure they had 2 picks in the first round or something like that. So I think that he would have been there for that second pick that they had. But instead of grabbing more offensive linemen or more defensive linemen, because that defense was god awful last year. That was the main problem. The only 2 people that they had on defense that were decent enough was James Houston and Young Buck from Michigan, Hutchinson. Those were the 2 guys. And then the DBs started playing better throughout the season, but they could have addressed a lot more needs on that defense with that pick. So definitely Jahmyr Gibbs, man.
Yeah. For me, it was a tie between Gibbs and, I don't think this guy's a bad player by any stretch. I just think they could have had other issues they could have addressed. But I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson. I think he was the best back in this draft for sure. But I just think the Falcons, with the 8 overall pick, I think there were so many other good players they could have taken as well. and address other needs. Like the offensive line is effing horrible. They could have got Peter. I think Paris was still available too as well at that point. So I think they could have grabbed one of those two top offensive linemen and definitely got a good anchor because good tackles are very very hard to come by, especially in the NFL, right? And I think they should have grabbed one of those two
Yep.
guys. So
I think Paris was gone by then. I think
okay,
Paris was gone by then because I think Paris went fifth overall. But
okay,
I do agree with what you're saying that Peter Skoronski was there. The guy from Tennessee was still there, and
mm,
they went with a running back. Not only that, they went with a running back when they already just drafted a running back last year in Algier. Algier he had a pretty rookie season. So you're drafting another running back when it's a passing league, A, and B, you have weapons like Drake London and you have Kyle Pitts right there that you could have had offensive linemen to let the quarterback, have some time to pass the ball. So, yeah, I think both running backs, and it sucks to say that the running backs are like the reach, like because it used
mm,
to be running backs was the thing that you wanted to draft for, but then everything, the game has evolved and has changed, and now when you draft a running back in the top 10, top 15, it seemed like a reach. So it kind of sucks because the running back is like my favorite position on the offensive side, other than of course the quarterback. But now we have to change and we have to make a shift from how
yeah.
we think and make it just a running back, man. I mean, make it just wide receivers are now more important than running back. So kind of sucks, but you just gotta understand how it goes.
Yeah, I think you made a good point in the fact that this is a passing league now, and there's a reason why tackles are getting such big contracts. Like you see, for example, guy out Trent Williams out in San Francisco, his contract's insane, but he's well worth it, right? Tyron Smith down there in Dallas, big contract because now, especially in the game, you need time to throw the ball now. Obviously, like you said, right, and you just don't pass up on people like Peter in the draft, especially when he's there. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
reason why parents was so high.
Hmm.
So I think this decision might come back to bite them, especially if Peter goes, and does his thing. This for his rookie year. So, but we'll see. But yeah, like I said, I think the Falcons made a horrible pick there. Whoever the GM is, he might get fired 2 years from now. He would deserve it in my opinion. So, but moving on. So there's been a trend recently, right? With the Eagles, they've been called the Eagle Bulldogs or the Georgia Eagles. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, because they've been obviously just drafting a bunch of Georgia Bulldog players. So I know the first round they took Jalen Carter, right? And then they had another first round pick towards the end of the first round, which was I'm so bad with names.
Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith, exactly. So with that being said, obviously now the defense we can call them a cheat code, right? Do you think they're most
Yeah.
likely a Super Bowl lock coming out of the? I mean, they're going to come out the NFC next year. You think it's pretty much solidified now?
Yeah, and I'm gonna write this down today because I want to make sure we recap this. So today, 5/1/23. Yeah. I think that the sorry, let me write this down. But I
You
think
good?
that I mean, it's a cheat code. They are. I don't see another team in the NFC competing with the type of squad that the Eagles have made. The only team that I can see competing against them will be the 49ers because I think they're built pretty well. Although they didn't draft as well as I think they should have. I think the 49ers defenses will always be good. They're always knocking on the door for the past decade to get in the Super Bowl. They get to the Super Bowl and then they lose. So, you know what I'm saying? So like the 49ers is another team, but like who else is in the NFC? The Vikings, the defense took a step back last year. Their offense is good, but what about their defense? Nobody knows. The Giants, they're just not there yet. The Cowboys are not there. The NFC South, no teams can compete with the Eagles. Let's be honest. Saints, Falcons, Bucks, and the Panthers, none of them are competing with the Eagles. Let's see what else. The Seahawks, they're not there yet. I think that they have like 2 years to get there because they
Yeah.
drafted very well last year, and then this year they drafted very extremely well. So I don't
Yeah,
see any teams. Yeah, I think it's a lock. I think it's a lock that they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl. The actual gauntlet is the AFC. The
yeah,
AFC is absolutely disgusting. Every team can go to the Super. It's a wide open, not division, but because it's not a division, but it's just a wide open
conference.
league on the AFC. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
anybody could win, especially like the AFC North.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna tap into that a little bit later too. Yeah, because I don't want to get too much into the AFC, but like you said, the difference between the AFC and NFC right now is just not fair. You know what I mean? So, but just
Hmm.
to answer to the original question, I do think that the Eagles are a lock, especially if they get Henry. You know that we heard some rumors about a couple weeks ago. It's kind of died down, but like if that proves to be true and they actually get Henry, it's a lock. You know what I mean? Like nobody's stopping
It's
that
a
offense,
lock.
especially because they got Jason Kelsey back. They got probably a top three offensive line in the league now with him and I'm so bad with names, bro. Lane Johnson. And then they got Jalen Hurts with a new contract. You know he's hungry to get back to the Super Bowl too as well. So I think that it's a lock. I think it's just Eagles versus whoever can limp out of the AFC playoffs and make it. You know what I mean? So I think they're hungry
Yeah.
for blood. I think, the GM had one of the best drafts and the Eagles want to go back to Super Bowl easily. Um,
And like we've mentioned before, Greg, like we've mentioned before, each team has a window, and I think that right now the team with the longest window to do anything is the Eagles. Last year
yeah.
they made it to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts only being what in his second, third year, and now they added all that defense that won a national championship in 2021. They also
Mhm.
won one in 2022. So they're all, they got Jalen Carter there. They have Jordan Davis. They have the linebacker. They also have Keely Ringo. So all these people on their defense, they know how to play with each other. They know how to play in a unity. And they're coming from a great. I'm a Florida Gator, and I can hate Georgia as much as I can, right? But at the end of the day, man, um, the Georgia's they're just way ahead of everyone else. Their recruiting is way ahead. I think they've made a step above Alabama now. They're recruiting crazy. They've won back to back, and this year, who says that they can't win another one? So, and what's the called? What's the general manager for the field for the Eagles? Oh man,
I know he went to Florida. That's all I know about him. I don't know his name.
and it pains them. It pains them having to draft Georgia Bulldogs. But at the end of the day, if they know how to win and they are phenomenal at their position,
Yeah,
as a GM, you got to do everything to win. And he's putting all his big eggs in a basket that these Georgia Bulldogs are going to bring him a Super Bowl, a second Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I think, like I said, I mean, like you just said, that window is kind of expanded a couple more years now with what they got going on, especially the way they've been drafting on defense. They might end up having the top three defense consistently over the next few years now, unfortunately, right? And then,
Because they're all young.
yes, they're all young. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter now, which is crazy to think about. Which is crazy to think about on the same team. Brandon Graham, you got Fletcher Cox, you got Reddick,
If you
who,
look if you look on both sides of the team of the ball, you look on defense and you look on offense, they're all young. Jalen Hurts, young. Devontae Smith, young. What's his name? AJ Brown, young. Running back wise, they get you know what I'm saying? Like running back wise, okay, they get Derrick Henry, who's 30 years old. Next year they go ahead and they draft another guy.
yeah,
They can just recycle people, recycle and they don't even have to they can just recycle a few positions, but the main position was the trenches and the front seven, they're all young. They don't have to worry about it for the next 10 years unless they absolutely suck. You know what I'm saying? Unless they suck ass. That's the only way. That's the only way that you have to worry about it. But that defense is, I mean, that team is just extremely young, and there's just no reason for them not to win two Super Bowls in the next 10 years.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's going to be a scary sight to see from now on, especially now that the NFC is going to be weak. I mean, sorry, the NFC is going to be weak for the next few years to come. We'll see, bro. We will definitely see. Moving on, kind of sticking on draft stuff now. There were some players that went on day two that we did not expect to go day two, especially with all the reports that were coming out. Also, welcome Omar. Omar, what's up, bro?
Hey, how you guys doing? Sorry about the
Chilling,
late
man,
show.
chilling. All good, all good.
All good,
So,
bro. All good.
so what I was saying, I'll start the question over so you can hear everything real quick.
Yeah.
So this past draft, there were some guys that went on day two that we weren't really expecting to go on day two, right? Especially with all the mock drafts that were going on, and the Vegas odds that we heard about a day or two before the draft as well, right? So who were some guys that got drafted in the second round that you guys were just kind of shocked that was still on the board at the time? We'll start with you, Omar.
Second round. Wow. As far as saying third round, I think one of the obvious ones, just because he's on my team now, is Jalen Hyatt. He went third round. But as far as second round goes, I'll start off with talking a little bit about Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame.
Mm.
And I feel like him and Kincaid from Utah, obviously the best two tight ends in the draft, right? But I just felt like he should have gone in Kincaid's position before. I feel like Kincaid might have been the second round option in terms of tight end. But I mean, I'm happy for them both that they went pretty early on. It's just I wasn't expecting Michael Mayer to drop out of the first round. Third round, like I said, Jalen Hyatt, I was very surprised at that. I was like, wow. And obviously even in the third and fourth, like in the fourth round, there were some players that I can't really think off the top of my head right now, but those two that I just mentioned really, kind of impacted me.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with Jalen Hyatt because he was a top three wide receiver, not top three, top five receiver come off the board for me personally. And I'll let you go next, bro. Who you got?
So I got people that went in the second. I mean, the most obvious one is going to be Will Levis. Not in a sense that I thought he was a second day guy from the get go. Looking at his tape, he was a second guy. But with all the hype that was building up, especially those 2 days before the draft, where some Reddit came out that he might be number one overall, and all these under and over, he's gonna be number one or top five, and then he slips out of the top 32 picks, top 31 because there's only 31 picks. So obviously Will Levis is the main one. But to be honest with you, and you can call me a homer if you want to, but the one that absolutely was surprising to me that went second in the second round is Osiris Torrance. Osiris Torrance was an All-American offensive guard, the first for a Florida Gator to get an All-American as a guard, because we have All-Americans everywhere else. We develop offensive linemen, but as a guard, he is the first one. Not only that, this man only allowed one sack in over 1,500 sacks. Over 1,500 snaps. Think about that. That is an elite number. One sack, and I don't care if you're playing in the whatever league they play in Louisiana Lafayette, or I think it's a Sun Belt, or in the SEC. You're talking about he graduates from UL, whatever the hell, like Lafayette, right? He goes to the SEC, which is the hardest division in football to play in the trenches.
Right.
He goes in and he completely dominates. You're talking about he goes against Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter got him a couple times, and then he got him as well. You know what I'm saying? It was back and forth, but he never allowed Jalen Carter to get a sack. He played versus Burse from FSU, who's another top guy for next year. They didn't allow a sack. So one sack in 1,500 snaps is an incredible number. So him going in the second round is crazy, and the Bills, that's a steal. And then the other one is I'm gonna agree with Omar Hyatt. I thought Hyatt was a first day kind of guy.
At least second round, right? You would think, second round.
At least second round, at least high second round, not even in the mid or in the bottom. High second round. His tape was for Tennessee was absolutely amazing. His route running is good. The speed is crazy. So for him to drop all the way to the third for the Giants, absolute steal, and is a great job by the GM for the Giants.
Yeah, man. You guys kind of hit the top two. I was going to say, first with Osiris. I'm not going to rename the reasons. Ed already said it. 1,500 snaps, 1 sack. That's like unheard of, right?
That is unheard of.
Talk
Yes.
about Jalen Hyatt, especially when I saw that Jaden Reed, which is the right receiver from Michigan State, got drafted before him. When I saw that Mims or Wims, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't know which one it is, from OU got drafted before Jalen Hyatt in the second round. It's like I don't know if he something was going on behind the scenes. I don't know what it was, or test scores, or physical, something like that. It's just this because that guy consistently at Tennessee was always open, no matter what. He gave Branch and all the boys at Bama the gloves, as you saw in that game. Right? He did a little something against Georgia too, as well. So Jalen Hyatt going to third round is insane, right? And then another guy that I was shocked to see going to second round was Brian Branch. I don't know. I think he was one of the best, guys in Bama secondary in a while. Because as you guys know, Bama's defense has fallen off since like 2017, 2018, right? But Brian Branch was one of the guys who has been at Bama. And the fact that like 3 or 4 cornerbacks got drafted before him really shocked me as well, So, Brian Branch was a guy that should have been mid first round, late first round for sure. Same with Jalen Hyatt, mid, late first round. I would have been, like, okay, yeah, he should have gone there. But obviously, Will Levis, that's the biggest one too as well, just because for some reason everybody was high on him. I think it's because of his size, obviously, right? And then I remember seeing Vegas had like 4-1 odds with him going to number 1 overall to the Texans, some crazy stuff like that. So when I saw he was still sitting after all the picks were going, I'm like, wow, like, okay, well, I guess teams are not stupid as we thought they were. You know what I mean? So, definitely a lot of shots. Sure.
I got a question for you guys because we saw a lot of tackles go in the first round, and it was a little bit concerning for Torrance because I brought this up last episode about Torrance, being a guard, and he was also in some mock drafts to go in the first round, and somehow maybe the guard position kind of just doesn't give him the edge over the tackle, the tackles that went over him, because if I look at Osiris Torrance and what he offers in his career and his resume, and then I look at some of the tackles that got drafted in the first round, I'm like, I'll probably get the Torrance guy. He's gonna be like a one of the greatest guards to maybe play the game, and gonna be a really good guard for a long time. So
yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know if you guys can kind of answer. Maybe is it like tackles are valued more than guards, or how is that?
We got Luder here. Luder 10,000 asking if this is live. Yes, this is live. This is live.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for commenting and watching.
But to answer your question, Omar, I would say tackles have always been valued more as a position on offensive line ever since I can remember. That's why I usually see tackles get top dollar, like Trent Williams will get top dollar. Tyron Smith, I think I'm saying, or Tyson Smith, Tyron Smith, the tackle down in Dallas, right? You usually see those kind of guys, especially, and the left one more guy out, the left tackle out there at in Green Bay. Can't say his name, I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's why you see those guys kind of get top dollar. You have to really, 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 really just be damn near indestructible to be standing out as a guard, like Quentin Nelson. He's just somebody that is going to stand out no matter what, right? No matter what position he plays on the offensive line. So I think that all Torrance has to really do to really stand out and really kind of make teams pay for not taking him in the first round is just keep doing what he's been doing in college, right? I think, like Ed said, him translating from going to Louisiana Lafayette and then kind of being the anchor to going to UF and playing against guys like Jalen Carter, Verse, and stuff like that, right, in the SEC, is going to definitely get him paid for sure after that rookie contract. So hope that kind of answered your question. I don't know if it did or not, but
that's basically, I just wanted to get a little bit more insight on that because, seeing tackles going and seeing Torrance not go, it's like, oh, well, what's going on here, But,
yeah.
But yeah, like his college resume is crazy, man. Like, I don't know how you pass on that.
Ed, did you want to add anything to that?
What was the question again? Sorry, I was sending. I was in the chat.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up there. No, but we were just talking about Torrance, about how like guards and tackles and how they differ in value, and why Torrance not be taking over some tackles.
I think that the tackle is just a position where Guards are very overlooked. If you really think about it, I mean, they used to be very high because they used to have to pull left and right, and
Yeah,
they have to do the sweep or the counter or the dives or whatever. You have to pull and you have to be athletic enough to get off your fat butt and hit someone else in the mouth, right? But now we've translated the league to where we have to just pass block, and the main thing is protecting the quarterback. And although yes, protecting a D tackle and a nose tackle is important, getting after those high end, those elite DNs and being able to protect your quarterback against those that they value that more. So you know, although I think that every position in the offensive line is very important, um, it makes sense why offensive tackles are higher in the want chart than
yeah,
an offensive guard because you need to protect your franchise QB.
right. Makes sense.
Yeah. Hopefully, like I
Yeah.
go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I said it wouldn't matter if you got a guy like Aaron Donald lined up on the other side. He's
Yeah,
gonna
then
be.
you really need one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm going to touch on the draft one more time before we kind of move on in the episode. So I'm going to kind of go around the room. And as you guys know, Ed is a Steelers fan. Omar is a Giants fan. I'm a Ravens fan. So we're going to just go around the room and talk about our team's drafts, what we think, what are the good things we're going to say about the draft, what are the bad things we're going to say, and then kind of, go around the room, like I said. Omar, since you still kind of just pulled up, let you go first. Talk about the Giants. What you think?
Yeah. So a lot of experts are giving the Giants draft A-, solid A draft. Um, Personally, there's like a few things that I'm like nitpicky about, but overall, I am satisfied with the draft. I'm giving the Giants a B plus in this draft. B plus means pretty good. They had an above average draft. This is going to be good moving forward. I like the way they went for center in the second round. We got a look from what it looks like. We got a lockdown cornerback coming from Maryland. So in Deontay Banks. So I'm excited to see him play, even though I didn't see him play in college. So I'm really excited to see what he's got in the pros. Jalen Hyde, obviously being in the SEC, I watched him a lot, and the numbers he put up this past season were so crazy. And it's not taking merit away from Hendon Hooker, but he put up crazy numbers with Hooker as his QB. I can imagine with a pro style QB, like a guy like Daniel Jones throwing him the ball. I feel like could open DJ's options a little bit more. Having another weapon that can get open, run routes, and has really good speed. We got Wan'Dale Robinson coming back from injury from Kentucky last year. I love it. I love everything they did in the draft, even in the later picks. I asked you about Eric Gray. Remember, Greg?
You did. Yeah, you did.
And I didn't see him, play college ball, but he looks from the tape that I saw, he looks like a really good, solid guy that to be like a 1-2 punch with Saquon. So, I mean, everything else though, I mean, I love it. I love everything the Giants did.
I got a question for you then. If you had to bet on the best two rookies for your let's say it's a year from now, not even a year from now, let's say it's about February next year, right?
Yeah.
Who are the top two guys you think you would be most grateful for you guys drafting?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
No,
What's going on?
We're having a little we're having a little blooper. Hey, this is live. I don't give a fuck. Hey, you try to be sneaky.
All right.
You try to be sneaky and try to crawl behind so she's not on the show. But anyways.
No, you good. You good. No, I was gonna say, no, you're good, bro. All right, who do you think will be the best two guys from your class, basically?
Oh, I think without a doubt, man, I want to say Hyatt. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Hyatt is one of those guys that I look at as like that could have been taken in the first round, but there's obviously question marks from other teams for Hyatt. They didn't know, is he worth that first round pick? I don't know, because there's a lot of receivers taken in the first round. So
yeah.
I think that he has a lot to prove in a way, and it's kind of surprising to say that, but yeah, he's got a little chip on his shoulder. I want to see him, actually make it out and be great, like be Pro Bowl great, stuff like that. So, um, I'd say Jalen Hyatt, in my opinion. Yeah.
Who's the other guy?
Oof. Deontay Banks. At
Yeah.
the pressure of being a first rounder, right? And then I can't say I saw Deontay Banks on a lot of first round mock drafts. So I'd have to say him. I think he's gonna come out and perform well. Now, is he gonna be like Pro Bowl grade, like all pro grade? That's a big question mark, obviously, with anybody that gets drafted, and I know that. But man, I tell you what, I think Deontay Banks and Jalen Hyatt are the ones. And I'm gonna give a little quick shout out to the second round guy, Schmitz, center that we drafted out of Minnesota. He looks very, very solid, very, very solid center, and looks like a central piece to our offensive line that can be there for a long, long time. So now you see that we're building pieces on the offensive line. We got Andrew Thomas, we got Michael Evans, or not. Evan Neal. Sorry, Evan Neal on the right tackle, Andrew Thomas on the left tackle, and then center we have him. Like I think we're building a foundation there, so I'm excited with him.
The foundation that I've been saying for 20 years for the Giants to build. But we have Mr. Thanos Heisenberg. I love that name, and I love that emoji for you.
Yeah.
He's saying the highest numbers were inflated by his college scheme. They were always running a force wide receiver sets. They don't do that often in the pros. So okay, that's
very true.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true because Tennessee caught a lot of people slacking on the defensive side, and that's why they were able to win 9-10 games because this is an offense that they had that the SEC hadn't seen yet. So they were able to. But then you see Georgia, they were able to watch film and put them clamps on them.
Yeah.
Immediately. So that's true. That's true. You could say the highest numbers were inflated.
Yeah.
But I don't think that in Thanos, Heisenberg, sorry. I don't think that you can say that he's not a good wide receiver though. His route running is very good and his speed is very great. So, and especially with the Giants, they don't really have that many wide receivers in front of him to be able to make an impact on that team.
So yeah, I can't think. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson is not wide receiver one. Like that, I feel like wide receiver one kind of up for grabs because Paris Campbell came from the Colts, and we just don't know exactly where he's gonna fall.
For sure.
Okay.
I want to comment on.
And then we have. Then he had. Sorry, Greg. Having said that, I do like Hyatt. He can be a decent option considering the Giants don't have any. There we go. Look at that.
Same thing.
Same page. Yep.
I do want to comment real quick on Deontay Banks before we move forward. I'm excited to see him. That's a guy that I'm kind of been high on, but like he's not obviously first round grade, but I think that's a guy with the proper coaching and then obviously the good reps and everything, he's going to get better as he gets a little bit older too. And I think, this first year going in the NFC East, going against, CeeDee Lamb and then, you know what I mean, Curtis Samuel and them boys in the NFC East, I'm interested to see how he does, you know what I mean? So I think he's going to be probably your best player from your class, to be honest. That's my hot take.
He's going to get tested. He's going to get tested a lot. But
he's going to get tested, boy, and I think he's going to rise up to it. I like him. I've always have liked him. So, but Ed, what you think about your Steelers? What you got to say about your boys?
Man, I only got to say is thank you, Omar Khan. Thank you for coming from the Eagles and stealing their blueprint because that's exactly what we're making right now. Trenches, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. With our first overall pick, first round pick, we got Broderick Jones, absolute monster from Georgia. He was there for 3 years. I think he allowed a sack or two or something like that. He can play both sides of the left tackle or right tackle. So I think that grabbing him and putting that left tackle with the tackle that we have on the right side, that gives Pickett enough time to be able to see the field and be able to pass the ball to Pickens or Deontay, Najee, or now we also have what's his name? We also have Washington now, 6'8" tight end. So I think that was great. And then in the first pick of the second round, we got Joey Porter Jr. We
bro.
all know what his
Tell
dad
you,
did.
Yeah,
Let me
that
tell
We
you,
all
boy's
know
nice.
what his dad
Joey
did with the
Porter.
Steelers, man.
I kept telling people, I was like, if we're gonna go cornerback, if the Giants were gonna go cornerback, can we please get Joey Porter Jr.?
Yeah,
And we didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I was like, okay, like at least we still went cornerback in the first round, but like, my goodness, Joey Porter Jr., like what he did at Penn State, like it's pretty special. So he's gonna do
So you
great
got,
against
you know,
guys. That
yeah,
bloodline,
yeah.
that
And
Porter bloodline runs strong. So
And in saying that too, man, we got Joey Porter, and then we also got, although Patrick Peterson is older, right? He's old, but what he did last year with the Minnesota Vikings was very good. He was still at a very high level. So we
oh
got
yeah.
Patrick Peterson, we got Joey Porter. We also have the other the cornerbacks that did well as well last year. So um, that was a great get. And then we go in the third round and get Keanu Benton, which is a D tackle from Wisconsin. All 3 4 years that he was there, he was getting 4 to 5 sacks. That's for a D tackle. That's a very good level. So
yeah,
again, we're beefing up that defensive side of the ball. In the fourth round, we get Darnell Washington, which, to be honest, I don't really know why we drafted him, but I'm not complaining. That's another weapon for Pickett, who's 6'8" and can run anything route, can block. So absolutely, I love that pick. Um, the question mark on this on our draft, I will say that it was Corey Trice, which is the cornerback that we drafted later on in the rounds. But
Yeah.
even him, he had a decent like year. I don't think that he will have like a immediate impact, but maybe year 2 3 he will do something. But I also what I really like is the Nick Herbig pick. I really like that pick because it was very like under the radar. Nick Herbig was an absolute stud for Wisconsin. If you actually watch a game from Wisconsin, which none of us really watch because we live in the South, so we watch SEC
Right.
and everything else, right? But the Big Ten, when you saw a Wisconsin game, Nick Herbig was all over the field, making tackles. He would line up at the DN. He would line up as a buck. He would line up as a middle linebacker, which is exactly what Mike Tomlin likes to run in their defense. Chaos, right? He just wants chaos everywhere so they can put pressure on the quarterback. So I absolutely love that pick. And his older brother actually plays from the Steelers now. We grabbed them in the free agency. So now we have like 4 sets of different brothers. We got the Watts, we have the Herbigs, we have the Haywards, and we got another set of brothers too. So it was very cool to see him getting drafted to the team that his brother plays for, and I think that he will have an impact this coming up year because he's an absolute stud. He's a baller. So I give
yeah,
I give them an
Yeah.
A. I give the Steelers an A.
Yeah.
yeah. Gotta ask you the same question too, Ed. Who do you think will end up being the best two guys from your class?
Incoming. Okay, sorry. Thanos says
Yeah,
incoming two, incoming
Look,
2 sets,
hey,
2 tight end sets. Hey man, I'll take it.
imagine Fryermuth and Washington lined up on opposite sides.
I'll
yeah,
take it, man.
yeah,
We need everything that we can use because our offense last year was absolute garbage.
yeah.
By the way,
What was your question again?
go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead, go ahead. I'll let you get your thoughts out, Omar, real quick. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was talking about the two side tight end says like Fryermuth, like he's like a borderline like Pro Bowl tight end. Like he just needs to kind of I don't know. I feel like more targets for Fryermuth and he could be that next level tight end. And then on top of that, you have Washington. Like there's something special you guys could be doing
Yeah, facts,
Mm-hmm.
facts, for sure. My question though, Ed, was who do you think would be the best two guys from your class?
The best of our gut. Man. Um,
there. Tough.
I'm not gonna. Me as an offensive lineman fanatic. I will say Broderick Jones just because I think that he's going to be the best offensive lineman in our offensive line. But I'm gonna go say Joey Porter. I mean, Joey Porter is a 6'2" cornerback, lengthy, got the speed. He can go against anybody, right? And that's exactly what we need, especially in the AFC North when you're going against Jamar Chase, you're going against Higgins, you're going against Donovan Peter Jones, you're going against Amari Cooper. Now, Say Flowers and Shredded Chicken Odell. Those are all
Yeah,
people that you're gonna have to you're gonna have to guard. No, but for real, in that division, you're gonna have to guard elite wide receivers, and Joey Porter, it should be an elite cornerback. So I'm gonna say Joey Porter Jr.
Bro,
I like it.
it's become such a hyper wide receiver league recently. Like, there's great wide receivers everywhere. If you think about it, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah. I agree with Ed on that one though. For his class, I think Joy Porter and Roger Johnson. I think that's easy right there.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention earlier that I thought Joy Porter would be a first round pick as well, just because I think he got kind of overshadowed by Gonzalez and Witherspoon. Because those guys are obviously elite, generational talent too as well. But Joy Porter's nice, bro. 6'2" corner, which is rare nowadays in this league, right? That
Like I
can
said,
kind of line up. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I wanted Joey Porter on the first round.
Thanks, bro. So. For sure. A little jealous, but it is what it is. Kind of wrap things up here. I'm going to talk about my boys, my Ravens. I was scared that we were going to draft Nolan Smith instead of Zay Flowers, because we did that shit last year. We drafted that safety for Notre Dame instead of a wide receiver, which hurt my heart. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But I think we did well. I think Zay Flowers in the first round was a pretty good pick. We didn't have. I think you guys probably knew we didn't have a second round pick as well. We had to give that up in a trade, but I think Zay Flowers ended up being really, really good. I think he's going to end up being a piece that is going to help us, navigate more offense, because we have a bunch of kick returners out. Have a bunch of kick returners as our wide receivers right now with Duvernay and Bateman and whatnot. But I think Zay Flowers is a true wide receiver. His route running is crisp. He has hands. He can get open. And he has that stamp from Steve Smith, which is the most important stamp. Yep. Right? You know what I mean? So I'm excited for him, bro. We only drafted like 6 players. You know what I mean? We didn't have that many draft picks this year. 5. I think 4 or 5 players we drafted, but I'm very, very excited for Zay Flowers. I think that it's a great feeling to see our front office address our needs. I think we've had this need for wide receiver for 4 years now. To see it kind of be semi-addressed is a good feeling as a fan. Hate that it took Lamar Jackson to use his, to just, force their hand, but it is what it is. I'm glad we got Lamar extended as well, but trying to focus on the draft. I'm sorry. Zay Flowers. I'm excited for him. That's all I really got to say. And I think he's going to end up having a pretty decent year his first year, and I think he's going to go up from there. So I'm excited, bro. We'll see. Hopefully, it's going to be a good matchup between Joey Porter and Zay Flowers for years to come.
Oh, man. That's going to be nice. But, man, I'm happy for you guys, Greg. I'm happy for Zay because, obviously, I drafted him on my fantasy team 1. And
hey, bro. I was pissed.
And I think also with what you said about Lamar Jackson, it's about time he got a nice weapon. You guys did draft Rashad Bateman 2 years ago. I get it, but he just hasn't turned out to be what they thought it would.
Come on now.
I told y'all that,
bro.
Well, my thing is, why did the Ravens think Rashad Bateman would turn out to be anything in the first place?
I told you our front office has. I can't say what I want to say.
Front office was asleep, bro. That front office was horrible. With that,
I can't say that. We're live on Twitch, so I gotta keep my language. But I was not.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that I think all 3 of our teams did well drafting this year. I think looking at the Saints, they did okay. A lot of like trenches, but kind of unknown guys. This is referring to Obed because I know that he's gonna watch. Miami was a little bit weird with their picks. I like their Shane picks though from Texas A&M. I think that's a great pick for them. The Jets had a very good draft day. Draft class. They did very well. The Bills, I mean, they stole with Torrance. They got Kincaid in the first round, so I think that they did decent. I'll give them like a B, maybe a B plus for how they did. So I think overall, all of our teams did well. I think the main losers for the draft was Kansas City. I don't really think that they did much. I don't mean loser I don't think Kansas City did much, but they did add a good quality wide receiver in Rice. I think that he will be good. because he's like 6'4" and speed.
I saw,
And then 49ers as well. I don't think that they did anything special.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add on Rasheed Rice because I actually saw him play live up close. For some reason, he's just got magnet hands. Like it's just like his receptions are crazy, dude. Like I don't know what it is. And this is not to take anything away from the SMU quarterback, but like he doesn't need to have a great quarterback for a ball to come to him. And it's kind of when you got receivers like that, we all know everybody in here knows a wide receiver that they didn't have such a great quarterback, but always seem to put up numbers. We all know him, so he's one of those guys. And having Patrick Mahomes is just a luxury. So shout out to Rice.
Shout out to Rice, definitely. Well, I think we missed a comment too by Thanos. Yes, if we had already had our dynasty draft. Yes, we did. We did about
we did.
like what 2 months ago?
Well, Thanos, are you talking about the rookie dynasty draft or the main one? Because we kind of split it up. We did like the main draft earlier, and then we did the rookie draft. We're doing it today. We started at 7 a.m. We're on the 4th round now. So which one did you mean? Who were the first few picks? Okay, yes, rookie. Okay, perfect. So the first few picks in the rookie draft, and actually I'm on here live right now because I just drafted some people. The first overall pick, Thanos, was Bijan Robinson. Our fellow guy, Pharaoh, drafted him. Number 2 was Anthony Richardson. Number 3 was JSN. I'm going to give you the top 4. I'm not going to keep going after that. 4 was Bryce Young. And 5th overall was Jahmyr Gibbs. Those were the top 5 picks.
Yep.
What do you think about that, Thanos? Was that it? Would you have gone with Bijan Robinson 1st overall?
Well, depending on the needs, obviously, but
it's kind of lit having somebody here, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that's pretty. Shout out
Thanos.
Cool.
Thank you.
Shout out
to Thanos for real, man.
For real, bro.
Shout out to him, man.
Oh,
making our day. This is exactly what we're going for.
Facts, bro. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. Have somebody here for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so he said, sorry, Greg, I keep interrupting you, man, but
go ahead, bro.
Bijan in Atlanta should be a top 10. All they do is run the ball. Okay, so you would have taken him 1st overall. I get you. All right.
My only concern with that is the offensive line is horrible.
Yeah.
But hey, that O-line is ass.
I'm going to just give you this, Greg.
I mean,
Saquon, when he got drafted to the Giants, Eddie can attest, I'm sure you know already, the offensive line was atrocious in New York. And somehow Saquon just ended up getting numbers. I don't know, but he got Pro Bowl numbers. I think he might have even been an All-Pro that year, like All-Pro 3rd team or 2nd team or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
It was crazy, but I think Bijan's going to be all right.
If Algier can get 1,000 yards with that line, what can Bijan do? Doesn't matter.
That's
Damn.
True.
Okay.
That's true.
All right.
That's what I was trying to say with the Giants. Like Saquon's offensive line was awful in 2018, 2019. Obviously, he was injured, but he still got it done. I feel like there's something about running backs, the real special running backs, find a way to like just put crazy numbers no matter who the hell is blocking in front of them. So it does help though, because I feel like the Cowboys with Ezekiel Elliott, you saw how like inflated his numbers were when his line was tip top shape. I think Zeke and low key might have been a little bit overrated in my opinion, like in the league, just because he had such a crazy line in front of him. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I got nothing to say. I can't even lie. He made a good point. Thanos, shout out to Thanos, bro.
Shout out to Thanos. Hey, Thanos, man, we want you to. I know you're on Twitch, so I'm gonna check Twitch after this and see who we got subscribed and whatever it was. Definitely subscribe on Twitch. Look us up on Twitter. Refer us to other people if you like our material and what we're putting out here. For sure, man, because this is exactly what we want to do. We want to have a live audience to be able to have this type of conversation.
Right.
So definitely follow us on every single thing that we got: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything. Follow us on everything. We're going to be posting shorts and videos, and we actually do a live every Monday It's either 8 or 8:30. It depends on what we got going on in life because we're all busy.
Yeah.
But we go live every Monday, man, and it's usually 4 of us. But lately, life happens, and there's 3 of us. Sometimes there's 2, but usually 4 of us. We're missing one, a Miami Dolphin fan. So thank you for tuning in for sure.
Thank you, bro. We appreciate you, man.
And other than that, man, everyone else that's gonna watch this video on YouTube, again, subscribe, watch us live, comment on the video so we can look back on the shorts and see what people are commenting and everything like that. Well, we appreciate you guys watching this and spending your Mondays afternoon, Tuesday mornings, listening to our materials and watching us, man.
And
Appreciate
it's
it.
just the off season. When football season comes around, it's gonna be lit Monday nights. Monday
Yeah,
night
man.
football, so it's gonna be nice.
We'll see, man, for sure. For sure. Thank you again, Thanos. We appreciate you, bro. You have a good night too, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So we're gonna end it here. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope that you like this video. Now that the draft is over, we're gonna have to come up with more crazy material until we start the preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of material coming out that we have planned up already, and you guys should definitely like it. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Take care.
Take it easy.